Okay, now we're going to open the floor for public comment. Anybody have any public comments this evening? Anybody online? Oh, I just got the hand.
It just didn't go live.
Oh, okay. There's nobody on. Anybody with public comments?
I am Julianne Kurtz.
Uh-huh.
On the Victoria Shore Drive in Lynchburg. And I'm just here to see if we're gonna talk about pickleball courts.
So pickleball is on the agenda. So we will talk about it.
Okay.
So. Okay. Anything else? So close public comments. All right, we need to approve the minutes for the last meeting. So should just the three of them approve this?
Do these
Because they're the only ones
That was
that are
one of my
gonna- I mean,
questions.
yeah, I would
I mean,
say, yeah.
I think,
I make a motion.
but I
Okay.
can't, but three of them isn't the quorum, so I think that one of them can make the motion, one of them can second it, and
Yeah.
then, I mean, if they're saying they're
We got
fine,
this.
then you just.
Yeah.
call in
Okay.
favor.
So I make a motion on that.
I second.
Okay, perfect. And do we have a vote? All those in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Say aye. Okay, minutes have been approved. Treasurer's report.
I make a motion to approve the report.
I second.
Any questions, any comments on the treasurer's report? I know most of you are new and just getting your feet under this, so,
That's okay.
yeah, right. All right, all in favor of approving the treasurer's report, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say aye. Treasurer's report has been approved. Okay, now to items of new business. First thing is the mayor pro temp.
I would like to nominate Marcy Nichols as pro tem.
Okay. How does this work?
So my recommendation would be you open the floor for nominations.
Okay.
People give their nominations and then you vote on them in the order they came in.
Should I discuss why now or after?
No, it's fine. I mean, this is the agenda item and,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
but basically, so that would be, I mean, that would be the right way. And then you just close nominations when you
Yep.
have all you
Yep.
want. And
Okay, so open the nominations. You've nominated Marcy.
I nominate Marcy because I think she's seniority here actually on council, which respect that. And she's ready to go for mayor, so it's pro tem.
I would like to nominate Gail. She's has 2 years' experience and she is very good. I can attest to handling things around the city, so. Any other nominations? Okay, so we have two nominees. How do we wanna vote? What's your recommendation?
You can't vote for each other.
Right? Assuming you're gonna vote for yourselves, so.
Well, I'm gonna vote for Gail, but.
Yeah. Okay, all right. All
so
right.
Well, knowing that now.
Here's my concern is that, the mayor pro tem runs the meeting when you're not here.
Yep.
There's no issues with you two being gone at the same time.
Should not.
Okay.
No, we talked about that. No.
And I think it says in there that we can set a third person if it's something like we thought we died on a plane or something, we can actually set.
We weren't going there.
So-
Well, I'm just saying.
I just was thinking vacation.
We talked about that. We said we plan vacations around.
We were talking about a getaway, Gail.
Yeah, yeah. So, you kidding her missing the meeting. Yeah.
Well, I just did, you brought it up.
That's right, I brought it up. All right, all those in favor of Marcy, say aye.
Aye.
All those in favor of Gail, say aye.
Aye.
I think we have 3-2. Marcy? Let's go back. All right, all those in favor of Marcy, raise your hand. Do this different, okay? All those in favor of Gail, raise your hands.
So now we have 3-3.
No,
Jeff's the tiebreaker.
Okay. So
well,
we're
it
good.
doesn't matter. Yeah, I didn't, yeah, we're good. Gail, right? Accounting, right?
It was Sarah, okay, and you.
Yeah, right. Mhm. All right,
So who's the mayor pro tem?
Gail is the mayor pro tem. All right. Next thing, committee appointments. So as one of my duties as mayor, there's a number of committees that we need to have people on. Right? I'm digging through my stack to the list. They are the library committee, the DPW, so Department of Public Works, police, finance and labor relations, the DDA, planning commission, the zoning board of appeals, LSW emergency services, and the emergency services coordinator. So I've gone through, I've made recommendations, well, appointments, I guess, for the library. I want that to be Becca. Gail was it before. So you're already on the library board. So you'll just become the liaison for the city council. Okay, so that means we are going to have to find, we don't have to vote on that. You said the three. but that-
Well, the mayor doesn't directly appoint that person. The mayor makes recommendations and the
Okay.
city council votes on your.
Got it. So I'm gonna make a recommendation for Becca to take that liaison. All in favor, raise your hand. All opposed, raise your hand.
Who was the second?
Second,
All I do.
Okay.
I look at that.
You gotta get in
Sorry.
line, Paul.
Yeah, get me in line. Smack me in. Okay.
Do we need to vote again? Now it's been seconded.
No, you're good.
No.
I just want to make sure there was a second.
Yep, got it. Got it. All right, next committee, DPW, Department of Public Works. What I've done is, this one I just appointed, right? Paula?
Yes.
Yes, right.
Yep.
DPW, Greg, I want you to be on that committee and be the chair for that committee. Okay? Gail will be on that committee also, and RJ, you'll be on that committee. Okay? Next one, police. Marcy, I would like you to be on that, and would like you to be the chair of that. Okay? Becca, want you on that committee also, and then Greg also on that. The police, yep. Now, one thing I'm gonna say, there's concerns about if Dan has to investigate somebody that's on that committee. I'm just gonna automatically say, we'll just remove you from the committee, so there's no concerns. We as a council will do that, okay? So. Okay. Next committee, finance and labor relations. Gail, I'll have you be the chair of that. Dina, you'll be on that committee. And RJ, you'll be on that committee also. DDA and planning, I think I have to be on the plan, or on the DDA, right? But is planning a recommended?
So on the planning commission, you're by statute on the planning commission and the
Also.
DDA.
Yep, got it.
But you do have to
Recommend.
appoint someone or recommend an
Recommend.
appointment
Okay,
to the
They have
planning
to be on
commission.
the
Yep,
zoning as
yep,
well,
yep.
right?
So-
Planning and zoning.
yes, yep. So I would like to recommend that Dina be on the planning commission and the zoning board of appeals. She's been filling that role. Okay, so I would like to, Yeah.
So when you,
we need council approval for this.
when you put her on the zoning board of appeals, then Greg would have to come off. Because we can't have two city council people on there.
You can only have one, but one needs to be in planning, right? Is that how it works or no?
Typically, we have someone from planning commission
It does.
on there, but it doesn't have to be, but on planning
I thought because
commission.
they aligned, it was, I guess it would be the.
I thought it did say we had to.
Did they?
I think
On planning
I
commission or
read in here
ZBA, which
planning-
one are you talking about?
Both.
Okay,
Somebody on the planning committee and the ZBA. Somebody has to be on both of those.
but you can't have two
I get
city
it. Yeah,
council.
I
Okay,
didn't realize
Yeah.
Greg was already on.
yeah,
So.
so,
So you would have to step
Sorry,
down.
Greg.
I'm heartbroken.
So we will need to find somebody else. How many folks are we gonna have for the zoning board of appeals?
so on the zoning board of appeals, we need two. If we remove Greg, we're gonna have to add,
Yeah.
two people to the ZBA.
Because
Because that leaves us, right now, we have Mike Cassidy and Jessica Bear.
Okay. So we'll have to figure that
Correct.
out.
When's the next meeting?
They meet when we have a request
Yep, that's.
on
we
the
have
zoning
2
board of
meetings.
appeals. Sometimes we go
2
years without one and sometimes we get 3 in a year, so. They don't meet regularly.
All right. 2 members. Planning Commission. I will be still on that, but as mayor, so I will be, no longer have a seat. I have talked to Randy Craig, who ran for city council. He would like to join that committee, so I would like to make a recommendation that we approve Randy for the Planning Commission.
Second.
Any discussion? Do we want to talk about that?
Does he need to like put in a letter or anything like that for us so that we know that he wants to? If we're nominating him, you know what I mean, or
So
recommending him?
in the last, Brian Fredline was always really big on making sure somebody turned in a letter, but if that's what you guys want, then we can definitely ask them for a letter. And, you
I mean,
know,
I would just like to know if he would want to do it. Obviously, I assume he does,
Yeah,
but
I talked to him just before, but.
Yeah.
so because the planning commission does meet next week, I suggested that you go ahead and give them a call and
Okay.
so, but if in the future, we don't have a
Time
deadline
crunch,
and you
yeah.
guys want a letter, we have a little packet, we have people fill out and sign, so.
And we can have him fill it out.
And we can, you know, we'll still have him give us the
Yeah.
paperwork, but to get this done
Isn't
tonight.
there another seat available anyway?
On
that we're
planning
gonna fill?
commission?
Yeah, is there one more?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
It'll be full when you tell that. Okay.
Yeah,
And I know we will be looking for. Friend of his moving at some point.
oh,
Don't know when for sure, but coming up. So we'll have to plan.
oh, right now he's still on there.
Yeah, no, I get it. No, I know, but he's told me that he's not. For much. longer.
I think it's nice to get his feet wet, this person that seems to want to help.
All right, so I will call Randy and have him come to the meeting next week.
Okay, so we have a motion and a
Oh, I
second.
didn't vote. Yes, all in favor of Randy, raise your hand. All opposed? LSW Emergency Services. Marcy, if you can you do that?
Hopefully their times meet up with mine. I'm working a lot of overtime.
I was
so-
just gonna ask, 6 o'clock on Wednesday nights is when they're.
Yeah, I can do that. So I
Okay.
guess on Wednesdays.
On Wednesday, yep, and just figure public safety, put them together,
Yep,
so.
Okay,
on
so
Wednesdays.
we're gonna need a
Motion, I keep forgetting that. All right, I have a motion to,
second,
yeah,
Oh, this Wednesday? Okay.
yeah, this Wednesday, yeah. All in favor of Marcy, raise your hand. All who oppose? I could do aye, but then we got confused before, so. All right, and then the last one is the Emergency Services Coordinator. Want to find a little bit more about that. I know you're doing that. I want to find out if you're good with doing that.
I'm okay. I mean, I studied it, I figured it out, I learned what I was doing, I talked to the chief over there, but it's up to you.
Okay, I'm good with that. My bigger question was whether, I mean, you're already on 3 other committees, and so that was,
No, that seemed to be,
yeah,
Good.
okay.
as long as you guys are cool with me being an emergency coordinator.
Do we have to vote her? If She's already.
No, because she's already there,
Already there.
so
Yep.
unless you're gonna change
Yep.
that, that one is good.
So I'll give these, so everybody has.
So did we have a motion to appoint Dina to the ZBA?
No, I guess I thought we did them all.
That was the only one I think.
Yep, no.
Does it count if I'm already on it?
I
Oh,
think
you have
because
to
we were talking
redo.
about what we were gonna do, we just never really.
Yeah.
Because you're, so what happened is, like, right now, you're on it, but your term ends in 2023.
Yeah.
And so I'm just suggesting that we go ahead and make an appointment until the end of your city council term, which is 2024.
I'm not making it.
And
I make a
feel-
motion, put Dina on there to the end of
What
her.
are these?
That's
This
the,
tells her.
It's just.
Oh,
slide forward.
yeah.
Yeah,
I take one, give you one. That'll work.
so Gail made a motion.
yep. Do we have a second? Dina?
A second. Can I second myself?
Sure. All right.
Maybe better if someone else second.
Project.
All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? Aye. All right, it's been approved.
Well, thank you.
So then the only thing that we'll have left, so this puts Jeff on the DDA and then we have the board of review that we need 2 people for. So,
Which none of us
None of
can.
us can.
no,
So it's gonna
so,
be
yep,
someone else.
so I need a couple people for, while we're looking for people, board of review and
So if you,
ZBA. Why is somebody ducking in the back?
I keep trying to get him to do it. He won't.
And they have to be residents, so.
they have to be residents, they can't be an elected
Yeah.
official.
For both of those, that's
Yep.
correct.
So again, not anything we need to do tonight, but you said December, they start.
Right, they
Yeah.
actually meet in
Board of
December, so it'd be nice if we appoint somebody in December.
That, I don't know if it's on here because it's elected official can't do it.
All right, and that does it for committees. Rules of procedures, so. Pretty much all we're gonna talk about here is a couple things, right? You have the rules and procedures in here. Want everybody, and then I didn't make sure they turn off their cell phones or mute them, unless you're on call like I am, so that's why I can't. But, other than that, I want everybody to speak up. I want to ask questions. Don't feel free or don't feel like you can't or don't want to. If something comes up and you have a question, make sure you ask it. That's what we're here for. I want this council to be more active, let's put it that way, in questioning things, right? So. Yeah, I can't think of anything else. So, and this is, we'll kind of discuss this in the next meeting too. So there, like I said, there are rules in here, kind of go through them and look at them and see if you see anything that's, you have a question about.
I think later on, we talked about training and that's
Yeah.
gonna teach you some rules too. And I think Dina and I, when we came along, found those classes very
So
beneficial.
helpful.
But we'll talk about that later.
So these are actually in the charter, these rules of procedure. So if you read through them and you want to, you can't change the charter, but you guys can create your own rules and procedures, like the planning commission could have them, and they might be a little different than the council. Or, maybe the police and fire, they want to have a different rule of procedure. These are required by the charter, but if you want to do something that's in addition to those, we can always create those. I mean, you can find them, online, or other municipalities have them, and some of them are very detailed and some of them are more simple like this. So it's just something to think about. People always talk about it, like if you're having trouble debating things or knowing how to do something, a lot of times you can find it in there.
Okay, any questions on rules for procedures? All right, approval of resolution 2215, annual health insurance exemption. I believe this is a thing we do yearly. Correct, Paula?
That's correct.
So we really just as a council need to say, yep, we're going to do this again for 2023.
I make a motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Any questions or? Okay. This is money. Do we have, probably should do a roll call for this one?
Whenever we do a resolution, there are always a roll call.
Always, okay. Yep. Okay.
Righty. Miller.
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
I
like
mean,
Miller.
Yep, so that's what we're doing right now, we're just voting
Yep.
on
Yep.
that
Oh, yes.
resolution in front of you. Allen,
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes.
Beavers,
Yes.
Judd,
Yes.
Geisler.
Yes.
Geisler.
Yes.
And Jeff is always gonna be called last, so I always call the mayor last if that helps.
Yep.
Or if you want me to
Nope,
say
that's
Jeff or Gail, but just so you know, Jeff is always gonna be the second Geisler that I call.
Okay.
Oh, Gail, you're number one.
And so, if we just want to talk a second, that just made me think of the rules of procedure. So what I'll do is like, so tonight, all of the roll calls will start with you. And then the next month, I'll start with the next person. And you'll be closer to last. So I rotate every meeting who I call first. But then it goes in line. So unless you want me to change it up, you would always be in the order I just gave you, except someone else will be first. And I don't change it on every call, I just change it on once a meeting, so.
You do whatever you.
Every time she's calling him, I want to say. 'cause
Oh,
that's
yeah,
my maiden
Miller.
name.
maiden name.
I'm so used to,
Oh,
I wondered
forgot
about that.
it's like yeah, it's throwing me off.
You'll get used to it. You haven't been Miller in a long time.
Yeah,
Still
that's
get called it though. Still answer to it.
All right, so that's passed. Next thing, schedule a public hearing to levy ambulance special assessment. Does everybody know what the ambulance special assessment was?
I'd like to make a motion
I
to
second.
schedule a public hearing for the levying of the ambulance. Can
Second.
we do it during
For
the
sure.
city council meeting next month?
That was my intent, so I put it on this schedule like a long time ago, figuring if it passed, here's how this would work. So the only other option is if you want, I mean, so what this does is it affects when our tax bills go out. They normally go out December 1st. We won't mail them until after the next council meeting, which is like December, it's early anyways, but it's not the end of the world. The statute says they have to be out by December 31st or something, and we always mail them out a month early. So because we have to have time to hold that public hearing, you have a 14-day notice and all those kind of things. So otherwise, we could hold a special meeting next month if we want to get them out. And the earliest would be November 29th, that we could hold the meeting. So, or we stick to it and just do our December meeting, and we'll get a few calls about why I didn't get my tax bill yet, but most people don't want my Christmas card. So,
I'll make a motion to keep it with the city council meeting.
that's fine.
Second. Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Aye. It's been passed. The public hearing will be during the next city council meeting. All right, discuss the status of the marijuana moratorium.
Basically with that passing, I just wanted you guys to know where we were at. That, we have this moratorium in place until January. So, that gives us time to figure out if I have to have a public hearing still on changing the zoning ordinance or the marijuana ordinance. Because I'm not sure, so.
To
But for
reduce-
right now, we're not issuing any, this is just where we're at. That's why I gave you guys this.
Yep.
And so then whatever you want to talk about from there.
So the moratorium expires at the end of the year, right? 12.
We put January 1st, 2023 unless extended. But there, basically by the vote, now it's only one, but I don't know what we have to do to legalize that in our book. Like in our zoning, zoning ordinance needs to be changed, and the ordinance that offers marijuana.
I feel like everyone here probably needs to get up to speed on the marijuana things and the licenses were out there and stuff, because we're all new. So, I feel like that needs to be done too. I don't know how,
What do you mean?
well, there's other licenses that we have still, and I don't know if everybody knows.
Well, so can we get the lady, is it the lady from Sparrow in for the next meeting?
You want her to come and explain to us what our,
Yeah,
So my understanding is the
it's just a
the
suggestion.
moratorium, once it lifts, that these other licenses could be filled, right?
correct.
I just want everybody to
This is,
understand.
but they can right now. This is just for the retailer one. So,
I know you're talking about the.
but it's just for the one.
So they could come in regardless with or without it. Right?
Right now, the moratorium stopped everything. All the
Oh, yeah.
licenses can't do anything with them
Yeah.
until
Right.
12/31. As we don't extend it or whatever, the moratorium lifts 12/31. That's why I don't know if everyone understands, like,
And it
all
would've stopped-
all
it
about
would've
it. So I
stopped
feel
me
like we
till the
need to
first of the
next,
year.
I feel like we need to put it on the agenda for next time, to at least get these
Discuss
people
it.
up to speed. If any questions they have, of what a moratorium is, if we don't extend it, if we do extend it, that sort of thing. Because yes, we need to take the licenses from 2 to 1, but we also need to understand what's out there that could happen if once the moratorium is lifted.
And can we extend the moratorium
Yes.
one more time?
I don't see why you couldn't.
Wow,
I mean,
yeah,
but I think that one of the things that, I mean, we can extend the moratorium, but at some point you have to make a decision.
I get
about
it, yeah.
Which direct, because the
Yeah.
courts won't uphold that
Right,
if
right.
someone comes to us and says, well, you guys are just holding this moratorium forever.
Right.
You know, they could fight us on it. So
But it'll
But-
give us some time to get them up to speed.
we have not had anyone apply for other licenses other than the retail, like commercial shop. So the other ones haven't ever been.
But I think it would be a good idea though, to get that lady in here to talk to the new people, you know, everybody to, so you understand, like, when she started talking to us a little bit about it, to explain everything. I think that'd be a good idea.
Mhm.
We'll see if I can get her scheduled for December.
Thank you,
Good.
Paula.
Yes, thank you. And I think we also probably want to talk about extending that moratorium for at least a couple months, just to give everybody a chance to get on their feet, if that makes
Well, to
sense.
understand exactly what it
Right,
is.
yeah, exactly. So. All right, any other questions on that? Tube heater.
What is a tube heater?
All right, well,
Our
I'm a-
representative from the DPW is sitting right next to you.
I'm the only one left on the DPW, so I get to do this. So when something like this comes along, we get more than one quote.
Right.
Yeah. And so we have a pretty much obsolete heating thing that's going from the ceiling right now. And this was in the budget and planned for, but this is a heating and cooling tube that goes around.
For the garage.
For the
area.
garage. So, I mean, it's just, I want to say a couple things though. So as you see, you know, one's $3,400, one's $4,400, and one's $5,200. We try our best to do apples to apples and everyone bid the same thing. If the bids are close, you know, I always would prefer to do a local person, but these bids were not close. I mean, so my recommendation is the high temp.
Did we go back to the local companies and see if they would
I don't,
match anything?
I don't think that we did.
Okay.
But I
And
do,
it's hard when you ask for sealed bids, then you get somebody's low price and you go back to somebody else, then,
Can't do that.
I mean, that doesn't.
If it was a sealed bid, you know, no.
What if you know somebody that's in the field that could give recommendations?
well, they should give their best. They should give their best thing to us. They shouldn't. That's what I think. When you bid something, you should give what you're gonna do it for. That's what I. So if you know somebody and they give us a good bid, obviously we go with that. And I think, I mean, I'm pretty sure most of city council people would say would prefer to do local business for sure. But in this particular case, the $1,000 of city money to the next estimate.
I'm sorry, my husband's an HVAC guy. You can hear him muffle back there.
Real quick, if I can talk. If we, and it doesn't have to be from our business because we're not local, but I do know local people, and then I definitely know the equipment side of it. So if you have questions and want me to look at what they're trying to put in, I mean, there's a big difference in quality across the board on different manufacturers too, you know, so people maybe $3,400, but it's $3,400 for something that's a lot less. And that's why, so it may not be apples to apples.
That's why I said we try our best, because I know there's been times where we look at the thing and then we're like, I don't remember what proposal was in front of us, but it was so many. One
Yeah.
did inches and somebody did feet
I
or
remember
something, and
that.
it was hard to understand.
Oh,
everything.
down there at the park.
Yeah, yeah.
None of them were even the same. It
Yeah.
didn't look like the same bed.
But then we asked for clarification.
Yeah.
Right, no, I know, but I'm just
We
saying
got
that,
that.
yeah, we did
And
get.
I'm assuming that Dave asked for the same exact thing from
Yeah.
all three of these people. But he's had surgery today, so he's not here.
Unacceptable. I'm just-
Dave did ask for the same equipment. I don't know if you can hear me.
That's Nick. He's
Thanks,
sitting.
Nick.
You're welcome.
So my recommendation from the DPW is that we accept the high temp. Proposal.
I second that.
Any more discussion?
I'm still reading. I'm just
Okay,
trying to get my head on this. Like you were saying, are they the same equipment, or is one superior to the other that will last another 10 years, and that would, in the long run, save us money? What's the usage? What's the percentage rate of gas take? I mean, are we gonna be spending more money on fuel because it's a lower quality heater?
That's why we're putting on the DPW.
yeah.
But at this point, we have to kind of leave on Dave a little bit.
Yes.
Well,
I feel
that's
like-
kind of, it's cheaper heating method, doing the radiant heat like this, and like all your service garages, that's what they have. That's what you got, the tubular up in the ceiling, so.
Well, I'm just saying, I mean, it could be all, I mean, the same stuff, just is the equipment the same quality? I mean,
They're
that's
all pretty much
what I'm
with
trying
the
to,
radiant kind of with,
yeah.
I mean, based
For
on the
garages.
first two, they are different. Because one model number is DES 3-40 and the other one's DES 32075.
So I'm guessing on that particular thing, it might depend on which brand those people are
Yes.
using.
that's,
It might be the similar, like, one, I don't, I'm not that great at this, guys, but I'll try. One of them might be a Courier or something,
Yeah.
the other one's some other, and so the model might be different.
The Coke and Pepsi.
Yeah.
which really, this isn't telling you what model it is,
Yeah.
or
Yeah,
what
it
brand.
It does.
Just
actually.
Where's it
before,
at?
just before
right
the model
here.
number.
On that one?
Same thing with Tyler
Furnace
heating and
make.
cooling.
I can't read the handwriting. There's a
Yeah.
model,
Yeah,
but
no.
furnace made.
So look at this one,
I can't read it.
Well, no,
It's a
this
chicken
one.
scratch.
this one,
Yeah, that
and
one's
if you
good.
compare them,
Your
you can make,
mercy.
they look the same.
Except for just different model numbers for
Different
whatever.
model number, yeah, right.
Different model numbers, so different.
I agree, the one's hard to read, but
Chicken
Yes.
scratch.
yeah, it's chicken scratch.
right, I know like, the high temp puts the 150,000 BTUs, and the second one does not have the size.
Mhm.
I mean, are they looking at a 250 because they're different model?
Right.
I guess that's what I would be looking at. What are the differences? Why is there such an extremely difference in cost?
There's efficiency on the one, the chicken scratch one, 97%.
Mhm.
Of course, that would be the-
This one don't have anything for that.
Just gonna let you guys figure this one out.
All right, do we have any more? You guys still, still looking?
How much is budgeted for?
I did that.
I'm assuming the guys would like to be warm for the next couple of weeks. 'Cause it's
Or we
cold.
just have them out in the trucks and they can use the truck for warming
There you go.
themselves up, I guess.
I do think that, don't you guys have some, do you?
We have one in,
And I
Police
think
department.
that, the high temp is the one that did that. one.
Is it nice and warm?
well, it's adjustable for heat, so we don't crank it up, but we keep it about 55 degrees in there, so.
I guess you pay a couple of these,
Yeah. All right, so we have a motion to accept the,
We have a motion in a second.
in a second, yep. Where you want to vote? Do we have any more discussion on this?
Roll call.
Roll call, because it's money. Yep, go ahead.
Miller,
Yeah.
Allen,
Yeah.
Nichols,
Yes.
Beavers,
Yes.
Judd,
Yes.
Keesler,
Yes.
Keesler.
Yes. Okay, it's been approved.
And the one good thing about it, at least we're staying with the same company that did the ones we have out
Yeah.
here, the Sally Port, whatever you want to call it out there.
That's, yeah.
All right, apply to host a community development fellow. Oh, you wanna fill us in on that?
It came across probably just this last week an email, and we've applied for a grant for a fellow before, but this one, there's a really long list of things that they can do for people, but it sounds like we could use them for like a lot of economic development, like they could look at our economic development plan, they could help us get a new one. They could plan events at the park. They're a host for Michigan Economic Development. So I think what they're trying to do is train people to work in the field. And you would get a year and a half out of this person, and it's a $10,000 investment from the municipality that accepts this position. And then you have to, you have to give them stuff to do. I mean, you don't want them to just sit here. So you really want to utilize their services and their talents. They're probably college students that want to go into this field, the economic development field. And so they could engage with the businesses, they could engage with the LBCA, the schools. I mean, I guess it's really not limited to anything in particular, but to get a good application in, I think that, we would want to have a nice plan for them. But the drawback is this is due December 7th. And this is what happens with grants is they come out with these things and they say, hey, 30 days from now, you need to turn this in. So if you don't have a plan, then you don't get funded. But if you can get together a plan in 30 days, so I mean, some things that Kim put together that we could talk about would be community engagement, like we just talked about, liaison, working with events that are already established to make them better, food trucks, farmers market, music, somebody to reach out and get more things at the amphitheater and figure out how those affect the businesses when those people are here. So,
It's a $10,000 commitment from the city.
Yeah.
And how many hours do you think this person's working?
they would be a full-time
A full-time
position.
position.
Yep, they would be a full-time position for 15 months. Some of the things they've accomplished are community planning, document creation, resident outreach, event planning and marketing, business engagement, fund development. I mean, there's a whole, out on the website, there's a lot of things.
So do
And-
they pick the person for the?
I think I read that we get to interview them. So like there would be, I mean, we probably have a list of people who apply to them to be a fellow. And so then we would get to interview from that list if we were awarded. But I mean, it's basically, at this point, it's an application. There's no sense in me applying if you guys aren't interested or want to pay the $10,000.
Is that $10,000 for the 15 months?
Yep.
Do they get subsidized?
Yeah, they get paid a full-time wage, like a economic development person would get paid.
Okay.
And we get reimbursed by the MEDC. And our cost is $10,000.
So it's $700 a month.
I mean, it seems like a
Ballpark.
no-brainer
Ballpark, yes.
if you guys feel like
Right.
there's a use for that. We think there is.
I think there is.
I think.
Or would it be
everybody-
cheaper to send out flyers on people's opinions on what they want to see here? I know it was done a long time ago. Too, I mean, there's all sorts of,
What do you mean?
I remember years ago, you guys sent out flyers to people here in town wanting to know, how we, like what we thought about parks, doing more in the parks or what around town. And, You know, and I think we got a lot of, if I remember right, hearing about it, 'cause I wasn't on council or near it then, about what people thought about what they thought was important here in the city,
I agree.
you know?
I mean, we just did do a survey.
How long ago was that?
Last year.
Was it last year? It seemed like longer than that.
I think when she's talking about, are we different than the one that
Yeah,
you're
no,
talking
one that
about?
was just sent out.
Yeah, well, I mean, we just did a survey about things we want, done here, but, I mean, this, obviously,
I mean, $10,000 for, I don't know.
I think when we did the fit thing, I think there was some talk about what people wanted to see, and maybe that's what you're thinking, which was a while ago.
Maybe.
I mean, $10,000 to me, with the LBCA, not to bring that in, but it would be somebody else that, hey, let's go about these ideas. What can you do to get this thing going? And like blowing up music in the park, which Gail's done awesome, and like the movies. And there's other things that we want to try to get done. It might be helpful. I mean, I don't know if there's enough for everybody to do in the office with this person coming in too, but at least they would be specialized in growing the community. I mean, that's. the
but I
big
think that there are, I mean,
I'm
really,
sure
it's a
that
new set of eyes,
give her
and,
enough
they'd
to
be a
do.
full-time person,
Right.
and no, I mean, it wouldn't be their job to answer the phone or stuff
Right.
tax bills. I mean, their job would be specializing in economic development and working with the businesses and, going to the LBCA, looking at their plan, looking at the city's plan, the Legion's plans, the church's plans, maybe everybody's plans to find out, what everybody has in common that we could work on, or, I mean, I think that it's really,
Because it would probably fall on you to give them some kind of, unless obviously would help, but I mean, I feel like someone's gonna fall on you to find this person full-time.
right, but
direction.
I think that if I get direction from you guys on what you want to see, that would, I mean, and I mean, I know that each one of you had something, and I've had you guys ask me for stuff, and there's things that we don't have time
Mhm.
to, engage with
Mhm.
every business every day to find out, hey, do you guys know that there's a daddy-daughter dance today? And, it's Halloween, maybe you're gonna be really busy tonight,
I think $10,000 for what it could be to help this community grow. I think it could easily bring in $10,000 to the businesses in the community. I mean, my thought is seeing what I've seen before, it would be a big payoff. I think it would be enjoyable for the community. That's just my thoughts.
I think it's key on who this person is, and if we do get to interview them, I think that would be like
Yeah.
important.
Can you fire them if they don't do anything?
I would imagine there's probably something in the agreement that says that they're not a good match or whatever, maybe they find new ones, but I mean, we've done it just like on a small scale before, but nothing that's a full-time person. I mean, but I think that, there would be a lot that person could offer to the community, not, just to the city as somebody working in an office, but it's a community position.
I mean, hopefully they tell us better than what I found out last time when they had whoever show up here or students, that we had too many garage doors facing.
Garage door days.
They had all the dogs parking around town. I mean, it's like,
So if we made a motion and accepted this, do you think you'd have the capability of putting this packet together by that short of date?
I would, I might just want to have a quick meeting with a group. I don't know who you want to meet with me, but I kind of like some feedback on what you guys would like to see this person do.
So I think.
I mean,
that-
just some brainstorming,
I think the planning commission.
or we
would
can
throw
do it
something
right
out.
now, so,
Yeah, so $666 a month is what that breaks down to, which I think is.
That sounds like a bad sign.
I know, I don't know if you saw me when I was doing my. I kind of went, oh crap. But for somebody that is. to be
I'll buy a
trained-
lunch or something once or twice, and I'll make it over that 666.
There you go,
number.
there you go, right. Seems like if they're trained and they can do some of the stuff you talked about helping with businesses coming in and getting them, that's important stuff.
I mean, those are just some of our
Yeah,
ideas
no,
that
I
we
get it.
kind of feel like, we have some empty
And
storefronts.
they might have their own ideas.
Right, and
Pop up.
they're in college, they probably are learning some fresh things and they can bring some fresh ideas.
that scares me.
They're learning it from old professors.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, it still scares me.
I'd make a motion to accept to start the process.
I'll second.
All right.
Any more discussion? Want to do a roll call on this?
Yep, just a second.
Nope, that's fine. Yeah.
The first and second. that was it. Yeah, because this would, I mean, this is basically just for the application, but we can do a roll call.
And we're only committed this one time. And if it's like something we get into
Right.
and it just, you know.
Yeah. And we're not committed until we sign the grant
Right,
agreement. I'm
right,
just
right. But I
asking,
mean,
you
Just to
know,
start it.
I mean, there's no sense in me putting any time into this.
Right.
if It's not something anybody thinks is
Yeah.
good.
I think it's a great idea. actually.
Okay. Miller,
Yes.
Allen.
Yep.
Nichols,
Yes,
Beaver,
Yes.
Judd,
Yes.
Geisler,
yes.
Geisler.
Yes. All right, it's approved. Paula is going to put together the information for the grant for hosting a fellow. All right, McClintock Park, tennis / pickleball. So we've had a couple people talk about wanting to get the tennis courts ready for doing pickleball.
Actually,
It is ready, but there's some
they can
challenges.
do pickleball now. I was just searching. Yeah.
Mhm. So. Who can talk about this? You want to,
I'll talk about it.
go ahead.
So we have a group of people and there's another group that shows up there too. I'm not sure who they are. But the pickleball courts and the tennis courts are in really poor shape. The biggest problem is that they're full of cracks and they're so dirty and there's water sitting in one of the areas that it becomes like a mud that dries. So even if it looks dry, you can still slip on it because there's a layer of, you know, this weird stuff. So in addition, they're not level. So there's big puddles let's see, it would be, I guess they're running, the courts are running north and south, I believe. So it would be on the end that's closer to like the little skate area, that everything runs that way. So when you play on the other one, the balls run that way, and then they run into puddles. And so Dave was nice enough to paint both courts for pickleball. With pickleball, the net is 2 inches lower than a tennis net. But the problem is you can't lower the nets because you can't put the crank out because the kids steal the crank. So then you can't lower the thing. And so I don't know what kids are doing there, but they even took the straps in the middle of the tennis nets where you can actually cinch it down a little bit. So it's a little bit lower in the middle. They ruined those too. So I'm just proposing that, you know, with all the pickleball courts that are getting upgraded in other communities, you're losing people to go to Hillbrook in Hazlet, to go to St. John's, to go to Owasso, to go to DeWitt. I mean, other places are upgrading everything and we're losing out here. Because if we are hitting cracks and slipping and stuff, we're gonna choose courts that are better, and then we leave the city. And we don't go to Terwilligers and we don't go get ice cream and we don't stop at the grocery store. So that's just, I'm hoping that, you know, with that Spark grant, that's, you know, that hopefully you can apply for. And maybe that could be used to just do an overhaul, you know, and leave one tennis court that's painted for pickleball. Because I don't want to tick off any tennis players. And there are other communities that do want to just eliminate the tennis courts. And I'm like, no, you don't want to do that. Because we want to play nice in the sandbox. But if you took one of the tennis courts and put 2 pickleball courts going the opposite way, then you'd have potentially 3 courts for pickleball. Unless somebody wants to play tennis, then you have 2 courts available for pickleball. So.
Were you saying something about some kind of barrier too, so that?
Well, I know some of the communities, like when they take a tennis court, they leave the old net. So in the middle, and they have the courts going the other way so that at least your balls aren't crossing over because you've got an old tennis net that's there. And then I don't know if you could do some divider, you know, between so the tennis court would be a little protected too.
You know, the sad part about it is there used to be a ball field down there I played on as a kid and growing up. That must be, I don't know if maybe when they put all that down there, not enough dirt was put in, but it's like a swamp.
Mhm.
So every time that we'd get rain and stuff, it was a bear to play ball on. We
Right.
were walling around in the mud, and so obviously it looks, sounds like it's the same problem still.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. So then even if you took the one tennis court and you put two pickleball courts, you're basically getting, one person's gonna be hitting uphill.
Mhm.
So it really has to be leveled, which I know that's gonna be, raise the cost. But you haven't done anything with it since what, 2009? I mean, it's been a long time
And
since the whole.
so I'm seeing two issues, right? Take this the right way. Forget about the pickleball for a minute, just keeping the tennis courts,
Mhm.
getting them up to speed, and maintaining them has to be done, which is kind of what you're saying, right? Get the tennis courts maintained, and then I don't
So we can adjust to pickleball.
Yeah, I don't think modifying them for pickleball would be that big of a cost, right? I mean, everything you're talking about is the main.
But you can't, to make them nice tennis courts, you really have to level it.
I get it,
and
that's what I'm
resurface it.
saying.
So
Same,
there's the
same
cracks.
difference, yeah, pickleball and tennis,
Right,
same thing has to happen.
Or here's the next thing, another idea.
Yeah.
So we got a cement pad behind PDPs. I don't know if something like that could be made in, because we've got quite a bit of property right
Yeah.
there. And that's up on a hill, and it's a
Yeah.
pretty decent slab.
yeah,
I don't know if that could be turned into something like that, and then you're gonna be right down
Right.
there and not have to worry
Right.
about kids maybe, hopefully
So
not
where-
destroying
Where is
things.
that gonna be? Like, where would that?
Right behind PDP's Pizza, city owns all that with
Okay.
there's a cement slab, I think they
Okay.
probably got their
There's no
deer,
swamp there.
right, they got their deer pole thing up there, I think, but
Yeah.
buck
They
pole
used to do
thing.
The burnouts back in the day.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
But that sits up on a hill and that's pretty
Right.
decent slab, so I don't know, it's an idea.
But then you're talking about doing something else in addition, instead of just taking what you have. I mean, that's a great area. And I'll tell you why, when you get those concerts going, we come down there on a Wednesday or whenever day you have it, and we're playing pickleball and we're listening to the music, and it's great. So that's one good thing about that. You've got that nice sidewalk coming down, and, there's lots of potential there. So,
I think what you're saying is beside just even talking about pickleball, this hasn't been, there's definitely some.
There needs to be maintenance.
Maybe we can find the grant money, because we had that lady last time that maybe we can find something there to help,
mhm.
support the cost on this, because it's gonna probably major.
So what
Right.
happened with the Spark grant that, I think I sent it to you, or I sent it, or I think I talked to you, Gail, about.
I
there was
think we're
a-
gonna discuss that.
That's
at the
on next on our
agenda.
agenda.
Okay.
So can we have DMV look at, no, DPW, where did I get DMV?
Can I chime in?
Wow,
I don't know.
Driving that one
DPW.
there, driving that one over.
yeah.
That's right.
Can we have DPW look at the costs of fixing the tennis courts? And can we have planning commission look at the viability of converting those to pickleball? Does that make sense? Instead of us as a big group
Right.
deciding it, let's let the committee
Let's see
do
some
what they're
dollar
supposed
amounts
to.
and stuff,
see some-
go
yep.
from there.
Yeah,
I mean, Paula, share my email with Dave and whoever's on.
I did, I
Okay.
shared it with
We all
them.
have it.
We got the
Yep.
pictures. and
That way
everything.
you kind of have an idea of what I'm talking about.
I've been sharing your stuff since
Okay,
you first
appreciate that.
started sending it.
Nick wants to talk. Yeah. Nick wants to talk.
Hey, I was just gonna say that really since I've been with DPW, which is a little over 3 years, the only maintenance that we do on the courts is try to fill the cracks as best we can. It's a product, it's actually called Crack Magic. It doesn't work that great. Holds up for maybe a year. And then also I've heard complaints about the north-south position of the nets. People really don't like that. They're supposed to be east-west. When they're north-south, you get sun in your eyes all the time.
When they were east and west, everybody complained they had sun in their eyes too.
That's true.
so.
yeah.
There you go.
opposite direction of the, yeah, I mean, it's, you really can't win where that park is at on
Yeah,
the direction.
I'm not, I mean, if you put the pickleball courts in place of one of the tennis courts, those would become east and west, but
Right, but we
Yeah.
actually did like, we asked people about that when we did the, like, we had 25 people involved in planning what direction those were gonna go.
Really?
And they're the complete opposite of these, and we always got complaints that these
Yeah,
were the
because
wrong
these
way.
ones were the basketball courts and the tennis going this
Yeah.
way, and so then they would.
So I don't know who the
opposite.
professional player is, but one way or the other has to be right.
So I haven't looked at this. So there's cracks, right, that need to be
yeah,
fixed.
there's cracks. When our ball hits, we just say crack ball.
Yeah, yeah,
It's like
but-
that wide.
But is there, I mean, is the surface going like this? And then where the crack is, it's going like this? I mean,
It's so, if you hit it wrong, you could fall. I
I mean,
mean,
it's, I
You
mean,
can see
see what I'm
that
saying?
big one right there. right
Well, I'm
in the
not
picture.
talking, yeah,
So didn't we have,
No,
did
just look
the,
at the
didn't
one
the
straight
Lion
down
Club
the
put
center.
one out
That's not
to
a
the beach
painted
club?
line, that's a crack.
Is that what
Not
that was?
Pickleball.
What was that one?
That's basketball.
No, they did another one too.
Is that
Yeah, what's that pit?
Gaga
thing?
pit.
Gaga pit.
Yeah.
Oh, got ya.
I still don't understand what that
Me
is.
neither.
I don't need to learn.
There's so many different games out there.
Kind of like dodgeball,
My kids want
but you can't run far because it's just moving.
so, okay, so let's do
Can't run
that.
far anyway.
Let's have DPW research what it's gonna take to fix the, right, you take that. Do some research on what it's gonna take to recondition, I'll say recondition, do maintenance on the tennis courts, right? Come up with a dollar. We'll have the planning commission look at what it's gonna take to convert, and a good plan for converting those from tennis courts to pickleball or some combination thereof. Make sense? Do we need to vote on that? Do we just say that's what we're gonna do?
No,
And, yeah,
not as long as those people know what they're supposed to do. You're good.
okay, all right.
I think you said Greg's name.
Greg's name, yep. And I figure I'm gonna be.
And
the
you
planning
said
commission.
DPW, so far, I'm good.
Or DMB, yeah, whatever.
and if anybody needs to call me and ask me questions, she's got my phone number. And email.
Oh, it's right here. Got it.
All right, thank you. All right, speaking of the Spark grant. I'm assuming that we would need to have numbers if we're doing any kind of grant to fix the tennis courts, so
But there's other grants out there.
I get that, I get it. Yeah. All right. Who can fill us in on the Spark grant?
Oh, I'm trying to figure out which page to start with on this. So, basically, it's a grant. I think it's COVID dollars. And they're trying to, get some projects funded quickly. And, some of the things you gotta talk about, you know, is how it's gonna enhance the neighborhood or whatever. If you're gonna do it, there, it's all park and rec, but they are not saying, you know, it has to be this or it has to be that. They're letting you decide what park and rec is. It's, I mean, it's really open-ended. It's probably one of the most open-ended things that I've seen. I mean, I think if you could make a case for something, it's possible to get funded. They don't want small projects. They want 100,000 minimum, up to 1 million. So.
I already got one for him. Let's go.
And so this is, I know that some people don't like this, some people do, but this is why I always say we need a project on the shelf. When these funding opportunities become available, the window's short. And that's why we have a park and rec plan and a master plan and economic development plan. And we got things that we kind of keep shuffling in priorities. So
You're very good at keeping things up to date and on the table and ready to go.
And I'm trying, but
And I
this
appreciate
one, you
that.
know, I'm not really sure that we have something that's ready to go. I think we might be able to get something ready to go.
When does this have to be done?
We're gonna have to move quickly. It's the,
December.
I think it's,
Somebody could
this,
draw out my dream.
I was thinking it was
I
the
can give it to you.
15th, because I'm getting it confused with the other one now.
Says the 19th.
Is it the 19th? Okay, so we got a couple more weeks past the fellow. But, in order to get prices, I may need like to use C2AE or somebody to give us pricing on what it would cost to do that. Then that's not who you use. They just give you a price, and then when we get ready to do the project, if we get funded, we have to bid. We'll have to use the federal procurement process and all that good stuff. So, but some key things that would need to be completed in the next week or so. We need to define what project we want to do. We need an estimate of the cost, and we need a resolution from city council. So that would have to be at the next city council meeting. So that's how short this window is. For the first, there's like 3 rounds of it though. So if you want to make the December one, which, I mean, I kind of think you want to try to get your project in that first round, because they're letting you keep them in. So if you don't get funded the first round, you could get kicked to the next round. But if you start in the next round, you might be behind somebody that was in the first round instead of in front of them. So, I mean, it's just, I don't know how it's gonna work. But there
You
are,
say we need an idea of project, an amount, and what else?
we're gonna need a council resolution, which, once we get those 2 things, I should be able to prepare a resolution. So
Of the projects that we have, what do you think, what is the most ready and on a schedule, certain, you know what I'm saying, we have to plan?
probably some stuff at McClintock Park, because we already had C2AE looking at the parking lots and the path. If we add fixing the tennis courts to that and any other maintenance items within the park, and I think we can easily prove what a community park that is and how that, you know, that would be used to better the neighborhood and increase economic development, because somehow you're supposed to tie all this back to COVID. And, you know, we really did lose a business, and we're having our businesses are having a hard time finding employees. And so if we get people in the park using the park, we can just tie those 2 things together, because they're relating, you know, how people come and gather to.
Because we didn't have events, so we didn't have people coming to the park, so they didn't go to the restaurants even to get carry out. There's lots of stuff we
Right.
could probably prove that.
Well, and I'm sure we could, you know, and it does let you do park improvements. I'm pretty sure it was one of the things I read. Improve health and safety. It says increase repair or maintenance needs. So I feel like what a great time to look at put money into McClintock Park. I don't know that it limits you doing, say, McClintock and Bates Park, but I think it's gonna be hard for us to get everything together if we don't pick a
I know you guys are
project.
very concerned about the parks, and I am too. But I think the parks are beautiful, and I think Roosevelt Row is, I can't say what I want.
And that's an
Roosevelt
option.
Row
Yeah.
is
Well, can we do?
let down. It needs love. It needs, we could do so much. I could build.
You mean with the open space there?
Yeah, oh,
Yep.
yeah. We have a
And that
lot of
is something
opportunity
that
there.
we might be able
I
to
could
get
easily
together.
spend
quickly.
$100,000 right there.
Could you spend $1
Can you
million?
spend a minute?
Absolutely.
And this grant is no match. Not required. Now, you could put in a match if you want to get, you know, points, but
So I know that when we had the farmer's market up here with the music in the park and stuff like that, that Kayla did enjoy having that up here. too.
Yeah, and I did
So-
too when we were over there. It was nice and we got a lot of business. But if it wasn't so sad and we took a parking lot over there, it might not be so bad. If we were down in this beautiful thing where we can still hear the music and stuff like that, that's what I'm thinking.
I really enjoyed the music in the park with
I
the
love
farmer's
having the market
market
right
and
there,
the, and the place for the trucks. And adding on different community events of people, like we had the foster care out, we had recyclers out, and it was like a big old party that could grow. I feel like.
you and I had talked about at some point maybe building something there, not like a structure, but a parking, like an area, paved area, something, improve the parking right there, and then put an area for the farmer's market to set up booths. But not, that wouldn't be to drive up cars, just
Right.
because there's just not enough space there.
And I still would like a band pad up by the thing that had gotten taken off before.
So what else could we do down by Roosevelt Road? To,
Curb appeal, they just curb appeal too.
yeah, but do we, do we want to think about building like a pavilion? So planning commission threw out a bunch of ideas, right? Help me with them. The pavilion, or maybe doing an
I mean, I
ice rink,
suggested the whole, yeah, the ice rink thing.
uh,
was-
water park,
Splash
splash
pad.
pad.
That'd be kind of
I
cool.
mean,
Yeah,
I mean, if we can get $1 million, I mean, if we can put a plan together,
Yeah, like down the hill. there's
That would
a-
definitely bring a lot of families in with their
Yeah.
kids and stuff.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
the
I'd like
big
to see
thing,
that.
the splash pad is expensive, but if we can get a,
There's that little.
grant that
rural
does it,
parking
Yep.
area.
It would
Car
bring
wash
people
and this
Can we
kind of
bring
thing.
everybody I know.
And that would
And then
like
Main
set us
Street,
different,
Street
off
Building
different
over
from
here.
everybody else around us
This
too.
area we
So
own.
Paula, do you feel like we need to
So this-
concentrate on one or the
This
other?
is
Do you
for
think
sale
we
right
could make
now.
it like
We
a
own
big?
this area.
can we make Roosevelt Road part of the?
And then this
Fun Park?
is mine.
I mean, we can try anything we want.
Just, I don't know, more of a personal thing, but I maybe more, have we ever talked about that, fixing that thing up, getting that thing looking better?
The
trail,
memorial trail.
yeah.
Yep. I mean, that's one of the things.
That was on our planning commission thing.
Yep, we did talk about that.
Exactly. There's a lot out there that can be done too. I keep trying to get the Cub Scouts out there to help get it cleaned up as one of their projects. so.
Because we
So-
have time issues here. I
And, yeah,
mean,
what has to be done by the 19th? Do we have to?
Idea, project, amount, and a resolution.
I mean, I can try to get information on the tennis court. I can see what it would talk. I don't know if we're looking at. Get somebody in here saying, are we looking at ripping out? Are we looking at putting a whole new coat on? What needs to get done? Obviously, if it has a drainage issue, obviously it wasn't graded.
They have
properly.
leveling
I think that,
compound. I don't know
But
if that
that's
would
just
be
putting a Band-Aid on a problem.
It's a
If
swamp down there.
If
is what
it's
it is.
grade is an issue.
That would
So
be
what kind of base was put in? How deep was it put? I mean, these are things that I know.
Yeah.
So it's like, was it done right or was it just kind of, put in there a little bit like they thought, oh, this should be good enough. But as you said, it's a
Yeah.
swamp.
I
Yeah.
can
It's
tell
gonna
you
sink.
what was done if you want to know.
Okay.
Not
I'm
right
just
now, though.
curious. So.
Okay. Well, it was, I mean, there was an issue when we started doing the work at McClintock Park.
Okay.
And obviously, everybody knew it was gonna be wet, but then we put in drains and we did all kinds of stuff, and they put in this geotech, extremely expensive, that kind of floats, so to try to make so there was a lot of money, thought, and effort put into what's there.
Yeah, they do have that little drain down there now, but.
And we, there's another blame, I mean, this used to just flood up here, so,
It
and
was
then we
good for
got, then we got
sledding.
sued because we
Ice.
ran all the water onto somebody else apparently uphill somehow.
Oh.
But anyways, there's a lot that went into those tennis courts because, and it wasn't cheap. It was very expensive and the surfacing on it was expensive. And it's a lot like the skate park surface, which I don't think anyone has mentioned, but I'm sure it's in pretty close to the same shape as the tennis courts.
Yes.
But the skaters probably find that as a challenge.
Right.
Fun. Oh, we gotta hop.
I
this
think
one.
pickleball people should think of it as.
Just find it as a challenge.
Okay, so,
So, I mean, I think what would be important is somehow you gotta figure out, I mean, I think you're gonna have to hone into something, but I don't think they're gonna fund, okay, farmer's market here, flooding there,
Right.
tennis, I mean, I just,
well, we can't pull all that information.
no, I don't think
In a
we're
month.
gonna pull it off, and I
Yeah.
don't think that it would gonna make a good project out of it if we
we set up
tried
a
to.
committee, I'd like to-
So, I mean, we pulled that park
You
and
don't have
rec
any
plan
time.
that we did last year or whatever it is, we pulled that to kind of see what people wanted.
What about Treat Street? Anything going on there? Or is that no longer with the city?
It's vacant. We've had it surveyed because the city had previously talked about trying to develop that. But like a private developer to build homes or multifamily development in there or something, so that the DPW could quit mowing it and it just kind of sits there. So I think that is gonna be on the docket for somebody to
We
figure out,
talked
but
about a dog park once. there.
but if you guys
Planning
want to talk
commission.
about it for recreation purposes, then,
Yeah, we could do a committee to do it like right here.
no, but I mean, then that would be something the Spark grant could be used on.
Okay.
So,
I mean, it's just a thought.
How much property is that?
It's not very, it's a cute little
What,
square.
3
It's not.
acres?
I'm thinking it's a couple acres.
Two or three, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot of.
I kind of got some.
We used to play soccer on
It
it.
is. I mean, there's a lot of stuff.
Do you know where it's at? I mean, it's right by your house.
Yeah.
Myra
Okay,
wouldn't be
so
too
we
thrilled
need-
about it, but
we
No.
need to come up
she
with,
wanted to buy it.
we need to come up with an idea.
Go-karts.
We need to come up with some numbers by
I mean, we're
That's
gonna,
what December?
yeah, we would have,
Put
we
a
need to be ready
track in there.
at the next city council meeting.
Okay, so by the fifth, we'd have to have. How can we do that?
I mean, I need guidance on what you want for a project. I
So we need to
mean,
figure out how we're gonna send info to Paula before the next meeting. And are we gonna be okay with it?
Or we need to meet again, or
Yeah.
we need to have a committee.
I think we need to have a
or-
committee, divide and conquer.
Okay.
You guys
Like,
do have a park and rec committee,
Yeah, but-
so what do you want?
There's nobody.
There is now, right?
Yeah.
DPW is park and rec
Yeah.
committee
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. Okay,
I don't wanna be on another committee.
DPW. Well, and I'll bring it up at planning on next Monday. See if they can come up with some ideas too. So,
But you'll work with this, right? Paula? 'Cause we don't-
What do you want? What do you want from me?
Well, let me read it, the stuff that we have to.
I mean,
But I mean, I just,
we just got to
There's
get
just
something
a lot
together
of
good,
options,
but it's
you
gotta
know?
be good.
right,
It's gotta be
Yeah.
well put together, because we don't want to do some halfway done job. We want to
Right.
catch a good project.
and I do think that, you know, I mean, the Quintuck Park could use some love. We've talked about doing things at Roosevelt Road, Mates Scout can use some love, so, I mean, and then
Yeah.
we can always talk about something brand new, like pickleball, ice skating, get
I
splash
need,
pad,
I need some new windows in the house.
so.
But we'd also, if we like went on to Roosevelt Row or any other place around there, we need more cameras too. We got some hootlands around here, it sounds like,
Leave the pickleball alone.
they're tearing up everything down there. So that needs to stop. We need to figure out how to get that to stop.
Hmm.
You know, we put in this nice stuff and these little hootlands are tearing up everything.
We call them the youths.
Oh, whatever they are.
okay, so
Yeah,
DPW,
spanking,
we're
what
gonna
you
put
need.
something together.
Yeah.
I
Um,
could think of this new girl.
touch base in 2 weeks. Just, I mean, 2 weeks is.
Yeah, so December 19th is the date that,
Right, yeah, I mean, so.
it's
we
a,
figure
it's a
out-
short window.
I'm not
but-
gonna be
window.
available December 19th. I'm gonna be Christmas spirited. Would be in mind.
Well, if this grant
No.
is all done and turned in, I'll be spiriting with you.
Yeah. There's when the
It's
grant-
like
Eggnog.
the present
It's-
to us.
Yeah. yeah. Okay,
All right.
spring cleanup,
That's me.
Neil, I'll let you.
All right. I'm gonna make this brief because I know we're running long here, but you guys are all gonna get up to speed, but one of the issues we have here is a little bit of some of the yards might need a little cleanup. And we can always do it by ordinances and telling people stuff, but I'd like to try the more positive approach and maybe make a springtime date that we kind of encourage everyone to go out and clean up their yards, and maybe we consider giving awards like before and after with possibly like a gift certificate to one of the local places or something like that. It's just an idea that I wanted to put out there. Obviously, we're not spring, we're going through winter, so it doesn't have to be decided now. But I just kind of liked the approach of maybe trying that and seeing if we can get people to help, you know, the elderly people and then kind of make.
I'm kind of worried about that a little bit. I got a neighbor next door. If there's anything sitting out by the street that's gonna go out or something, he thinks it's a treasure, it's gonna be this house in the backyard.
Oh.
Then I get to look at it. I ain't kidding you. You thought that was funny with a boat up on the,
Yeah,
Well, spring cleanup, are we talking about,
Like setting a date.
what exactly are we talking about? Sticks, leaves,
Power
scrap metal,
washing.
Yes. we
junkyard?
were talking about having somebody taking a picture before, doing whatever they want to do, taking a picture after, and then we would judge them, submit them, we would judge them and go, okay, you made the biggest difference, whatever they decided to do.
But what I really want it to be is that everyone kind of feels like they need to help clean up their yards, and maybe we'll
Right.
get the benefit of it in essence, and helping each other too.
Well, I was just thinking, it's a great idea, and like people that have a bunch of stuff in their front yard. What if we do like a community scrap metal pickup day?
Yeah, that's how we need to.
yeah, but who's picking that up?
Well, I don't know yet. but we'll-
Probably my neighbor next door. Just saying.
We'll just take their drop it back.
We can have a scrap metal pickup.
Oh,
day.
boy.
We can deliver it all to Marcy's neighbor.
No.
I'm thinking-
Or it'll end up over here on High Street.
Yeah, right.
You never know.
Exactly, so,
We got recyclings in town. Why don't we get them involved on something like that? Because they will love to have
Yeah,
that.
they like
Yeah.
And then, you
Okay.
know, there's enough scrap
So-
metal people, we can, hey, we need some help with this for the community. Can you come in with a
I
trailer?
just don't want, the only issue I might see with, I love the idea, trust me, I love
Right.
to clean up here. But if you're, sorry, brain fart here. I guess if you're like awarding somebody for doing something, then somebody else who didn't have the means to do it or didn't have anybody to help them, then they found, I don't know, I don't want people to be left out.
They don't have the financial
or-
support to be able to. clean
Yeah,
up
they
something or
didn't have
make it
financial
nice.
support and then they don't have a chance to.
I don't expect these awards to be like huge or anything.
Oh, I
and
know,
We
I'm
can set different
just-
ones as far as that goes.
Yeah,
The only thing I thought was kind of a win-win, like then we give them some kind of gift certificate to a local business.
I definitely love
yeah.
the idea.
Mm.
I would
So-
love to go power wash some houses.
So in the interest of time,
Yeah,
we put that out there as an idea.
Yeah.
Let's put it back on the agenda for next time, and we can discuss it more. People can think about it, have an idea. And
I know at one point they were gonna have somebody putting what couple big dumpsters out the Legion parking lot and try to do a cleanup there. I don't know whatever happened to that idea, but it never happened. I was like, sweet, that's awesome,
Yeah.
you know, but
Right.
never happened.
Okay. Training. Put some stuff together.
I did.
Yes, you did. It looked nice. Thank you.
Just MML is really good about putting stuff out right now as we get newly elected officials and, I know that Dina you went to the newly elected one, right? Or no?
I didn't.
Oh, you didn't? Did you? Okay, you did. I
Yes,
knew
she
one of you
did,
did,
and
and
I
then you
didn't.
went to a bunch of,
I went to all the planning and zoning.
yeah, okay. So,
beat
I
to
mean,
death
Gail
for
can
that.
tell you, but it's like just a general overview. It's not a deep dive, but it is good information.
I learned a lot. And
Yeah.
it's virtual. You can do it at your convenience.
I mean, our other option is we could do a meeting night and do the virtual training all together. So if everybody wanted to learn some of the things, like even people who've been here, we could all come and do it.
So who's making
I mean,
popcorn?
Those are just some things I was thinking,
That
but
would be
it-
beneficial for the city price wise.
I wasn't worried about that
I
as
know,
much as
but
I kind of
still.
thought it might be nice to kind of like all of us learn it at the same time. So it,
Then we know what each other's learning. and
yeah.
then we can discuss it.
But if we're all watching the same webinar, it could be the same too. Just depends on what the timing is. And the one in person in Lansing would be fun and it's close enough. That, you know, sometimes going in person is good too. So even if a bunch of people wanted to go together to the Lansing one, so,
So just going individually, we may make connections that we wouldn't if we did it.
yeah,
I'd rather make connections. with people. Say, hey, they got locked there. Hey. let's bounce
you might meet somebody
ideas.
there from up here, Wausau
Yeah.
or whatever,
We
and
can
then,
bounce ideas off each other too.
yeah, I mean, and it is,
Us introverts don't want that.
I guess who would like to go in person? And
I'd
who
rather
would
go in
like,
person.
Arjun, what's your thought?
I'd rather go online.
But I'm
I'd
not
rather
an
go.
introvert.
It's not to say.
And it's fun,
I just-
Yeah, it's not to say we all have to
I
do. the
know we
same.
all have different ways. of
Yeah.
doing
No.
stuff.
and, you know,
And I can do both, but I just have to talk.
So I think it's good you're at, I mean, I'm not,
Yeah,
More power to you
so
with that.
it's.
Yeah, I mean, we need that.
I can't remember how this works. Did you guys get like something from MML in the mail?
I did, and then I brought it to you, and then you were like, and then I went on.
I think you told me where.
Just
to go
like
and I
that.
went in and
But I
registered
think
and
once you get elected, for some reason, I feel like they get notification.
Yeah.
And then we start getting those magazines with your names
I was
on
getting
them and
emails like
stuff, and
crazy.
so we can set up your own account, or we can sign you up and use the city's credit card. However, it's way easier for us to just use the city's credit cards and have to reimburse
Yeah.
everybody.
That's what I did. I
But
can't
whatever
remember
is
you did it.
easier for you guys as far as getting signed up goes. If you want us to sign you up, we can. If you want to go to the MML website, to be able to click on something, sign it up. And then you are gonna, I mean, we're a member city, so we'll get the discount. So it's $115 for the in-person one and 85 for the online one. But,
and Paul just answered the question of it is paid for by the city.
yeah, absolutely.
And
So-
everything's printed by Foresight Group from the MML. Just throwing that out there.
She's so.
All right, so do we want to
And if you did want to go to that website just to see what other offerings they have, like, I printed out a piece from their website and I mean, they have like some videos, you can watch a video on, the general outline of the structure and functionality of the local government. So like, there's things out there that we can print documents from there for you, or you can print out. So. mml.org. They do a great job.
Oh, the one that I did, I just realized it wasn't MML. It was a different one that sent
You
something
did the
to me.
citizen planner.
Yeah, and then I came to you and you already had an account. So we went through there, but still, it was easy.
So yeah, let's everybody try and get signed up for appropriate training. If we all want to get together as a group and go to the one in Maine. Or if some people want to, let's just get together and organize it, so.
And then if there's something you want training on, I mean, we're in the office all the time, you can come in, or you can go to our website. We got a lot of stuff up there. A lot of our handbooks, our plans, they're all out there to read. I would also recommend reading maybe the last 12 minutes of the minutes, just to kind of, we do a lot of things cyclically. So like every fall, we do the tax bills, or every, winter, we do something else. So we set the calendar, we do the healthcare. I mean, some of these things just happen every year, same month, over and over again. So some things that will at least kind of like, or if you have questions, you just want to ask me about stuff, we can train that way too.
So why don't we put like the master plan? Maybe not for December.
Yeah, when I didn't even know anything about the master plan.
Yeah.
And then when it came out, it was so much information.
Right.
It was so beneficial
And
just to see
don't have
that.
to review them by a certain period of time in the year.
So like the planning commission
Yeah.
right now should be getting ready to do their year-end report. So in December, we kind of go through everything and then put something together for January, February. Kind of go through what you've done, review the master plan, some of that stuff.
I mean, it's on the website, so they can go just click on it and look at it, but there's a lot of information in there for sure.
Okay. Anything else for training? All right, sounds good. Anything else, business? Before we move on to paying bills. All right. First time I've done this. Do we need a motion to pay the
I make a
bills?
motion to pay the
I
bills.
second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? I never figured that one out. It's like, why would we not pay the?
It's
bills?
always her that makes the motion, so I did it first that time.
So,
You gotta keep the lights on.
Roll call or?
yes, we need.
Oh, we need a
call.
roll call. Okay, sorry.
For money.
As far as the bills go, Cassie just prepares this sheet. I'm just gonna give you a little,
Down.
this is the sheet that we get, these are the bills. A lot of them are, the checks are
That stack of
waiting in
paper I
there to
was
be
signing.
paid. Some of them have already been paid, like we pay the consumer's bill, the phone bill, all that kind of stuff that is just like regular bills. Those are on our list of items that have been pre-approved, and we can reproduce that list so you know what vendors we're paying regularly. But then she lists the checks, and then, so we have e-checks where we pay, the health insurance electronically. We're signed up on now to do a lot of that stuff, and we do have some banking fraud prevention things in place so that nobody can draw against our account unless we did an upload positive pay. So that is protected. And then the tax distribution amount, right now it's like $6,200. Next month it might be 200,000. So when we bring tax money in, we have to turn around and pay it back out. So we keep track of that differently, so you don't think it's part of the bills, because it can be alarming when we're paying those back out, so. And then we always do a roll call vote on the bills. And the bills, I think, are down here,
That's what we were signing earlier.
and they're available to look at if you want to. Typically, what we've done is have the finance committee sign these, and we give you a list. If something looks funny on the list and you want to look at it, you wanna know, hey, what's on this bill, or even until you guys, you wanna start looking at them and reviewing them, then, you can. So, but some of you don't have any idea what the bills are we're paying. So,
You'll be floored if you look at them.
Yeah, there's some stuff.
but I think that, Granger, stuff like that, you're all gonna understand what that is, but, the basic, the wax, what is all this stuff? So, any questions you have on these things? I mean, if you want to look at the list and then tell me you have questions, or if you want to just look at these every bill, then we have them, and you can come in anytime and look at
So it
them.
used to be, we used to have to sign every single one of them.
But the auditor said we could turn them and did. So, anything else on the bills?
Just a roll call.
Miller,
Yes.
Allen,
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes.
Beavers.
Yeah.
Judd,
Yes.
Geisler,
Yes.
Geisler.
Yes. Okay. Committee reports. How do we want to do this?
So normally what we do is I've attached the minutes from all the committees from last month. So if you go through those, then you just, whoever's on the top, you just can say, somebody got a report for this one, and then some of them Dan and I will just deal with if you have questions about the minutes that are there, or Dan has some updates for police and fire. Gail probably do the updates for DPW and
So
library.
I'll do the planning commission right now.
Okay,
I remember we just discussed a lot about if maybe we should make things more regulated or not, about like RVs parking in the front yards, or just like the visual of the yards with maybe numerous cars, like just pulling up in their yard, or certain things like that. We were just tossing around ideas, like, is this something that we should change? Is it something we should just look at? Is it something that's fine? We also I think that's all we discussed. We
Pretty
didn't
much,
discuss
yeah.
anything else,
I
because
think
we
we had
didn't
a
have
pretty
anything
short
on the
meeting.
agenda
Short
yet. It was
meeting.
quick in and out. But we just had pictures. It was nothing. It was more like Paula was just kind of give us something to check out and look at. And
okay. Police. Who wants to, Marcy?
we didn't.
I'll let Dan do it. We didn't mean.
Yeah, we didn't
Okay,
have one.
all right.
so-
He's more up to date than I am on that one.
Yeah, in your packet, you should have got a list of everything that had transpired for the month. So I didn't know if you had any questions. It's pretty self-explanatory. There was 27 reports for the month. You can see the different totals there for the different type of calls. 1,500 patrol miles. There were 78 traffic stops, 40 tickets issued. 30 of those were for speed, 38 traffic warnings, 2 city ordinance violation warnings. And then under additional information, the certified officers and the reserve officers had firearms training. I had a couple officers down there at the McClintock Park for the concert that was down there. A couple of us assisted with the active shooter training that went on at the Shiawassee Health and Wellness Center. They have approximately 120 employees there, and they wanted to bring all their employees up to speed on what to do if they had an active shooter. So we did 3 different types of scenarios for there. CPR renewal for the officers. The video cameras at the park did catch the vandalism that took place at the men's bathroom. That report's been forwarded to the prosecutor's office. In regards to the emergency services operations, Dina's on that, the mayor has a role in that. I'll give you a copy of what that entails. And what that is for is in case Langsburg has a catastrophe, like a tornado hits part of the city, we need to have this plan up and running so that
Sure.
we go from the city level, then we can ask for county level and state level to get reimbursed for money or resources. So if our resources are overwhelmed, we have a mutual aid agreement with the county and their emergency management, that they will come in and help us. Then again, we also have to reciprocate if there's a disaster in the county, we may send officers, we may send DPW equipment to assist them. So we have to have this plan in order to get recoup any monies or have people help us if we were to have a tornado that wiped out half the city or something. So that's why we had that operational plan. The mayor and Dina will review that, and then maybe next month we could sign that. And then sometime after December 5th, we'll get together and then have a meeting to discuss it along with fire chief, DPW, everything, and go through that plan to see if anything needs to be changed.
So when do we have to, you said after December 5th?
Well, just review that, and then December 5th,
We can
sign that, and then we'll have a meeting after that.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. About the LSW.
It's up to you.
Okay. Yeah, that's you too, yeah.
All right, so I don't know what you got reference to the calls or anything like that. I think you just had the general outline.
Yeah, September minutes.
Yeah, so in September, the ambulance had 46 calls for the month. There were 9 in the city, 10 in Scioto Township, 21 in Woodhull Township, and then 6 mutual aid calls. That brings the year-to-date up to 183 calls. Now, that is a little lower because we didn't have the ambulance personnel, as you know, up until July. So once we increased the pay for the paramedics and the EMTs, we now have our ambulance staff 24/7, 365 days so far. So we have a full schedule. Currently have 8 paramedics on staff and 7 EMTs. So we're doing good on that. For September, for the fire department, there was 4 runs in the city. Again, now this is fire and rescue. Scioto Township had 6, Woodhull had 18, and Victor had 12, and then there was 2 mutual aid calls. So for the month of September, there was 42 runs, and that brought our year-to-date up to 454 at the end of September. Wednesday will be the next LSW meeting, and that's when the October numbers will come out for that. And the only other things to bring up to speed for the other council members is that a new rescue had been ordered a year and a half ago. And I got a picture today that it's actually here. It's at the outfitter. And so that's getting put together. There is a tanker that's been on order. However, we still probably have another 18 months, if not a little longer, before we see that. So anytime we have to order some new equipment now, it's going to take at least 2 years out. I am reviewing our insurance for LSW to make sure that the replacement costs, if we were to have a damaged ambulance or a fire truck, say somebody hit it on I-69 if we're up there on an accident. Right now, to get a new ambulance, just the ambulance is $200,000 and a 2-year wait. If one of our engines is hit or damaged, $400,000, and it's still about 2 years out.
Oh,
So we kind of have to plan ahead to make sure that all these things are in place.
Didn't used to be that way. We
Didn't
used to be
used to
able
be
to
that
just
way.
order it, it was here.
Yeah.
Hopefully no deer jump out in front of the ambulance or anything.
Yeah. So,
Give the workers for not doing this.
and then for the fire department, we do have a couple of people that are going to be going to fire training here in January. I think 2 or 3 will be going to fire school. So, but we're still looking for people, because again, we cover 3 stations. When I started way back, we had 3 stations. We had like 44 firefighters. Now we're down to 21. So we do rely on mutual aid a lot. So if we have a fire, we are calling mutual aid. We have automatic aid, which means if we have a known structure fire, we have certain other agencies responding depending on where that fire is. So because we do cover for fire department 104 square miles. So we have a lot of coverage area. So if anybody else got a question?
How long's your schooling for that?
Fire school is 6 months long. It's 2 nights a week and typically 1 Saturday a month. And that's why it gets stretched out to 6 months. And then you have to pass the state written test and the state practical test. So it's not just somebody saying, okay, I want to go spray water on a fire. So they have to go through all the training.
Thought about doing that, but I don't know if I run towards fire or not yet. It's kind of scary.
Okay. All right, thank you, Dan.
Thank
All
you.
right, DPW.
I'll look at the highlights. They're working on the leaf pickup. They finished the library front painting. We had a Halloween movie for the first time in the park.
How did that go? It was.
It was fun. It was kind of cold.
Completely missed it.
but-
It really wasn't that
Yeah,
bad, and she
yeah.
ran out of hot chocolate. It was fun.
It was
The
fun for the
library
first time.
brought
Yeah.
glow sticks and books to hand out to kids. It was really kind of exciting.
I totally missed it.
It was fun. And I mean, I enjoyed it.
It could have been a little bit bigger.
Yeah. But I think everything that we do for the first time sometimes isn't the biggest thing we do. It's the consistency of doing it and it'll always get better. As the first time I had music in the park, this wasn't very for anybody, so.
Right.
And then the tube heating, we talked about that tonight. So I guess I hit the highlights what I thought. Can we move on to the library?
Sure, you might as well just.
Okay, the highlights for they are doing the silent auction this year. They're getting lots of donations. They had a story time around the Halloween theme. They had a pretty good turnout, and Becca and Kate, 2 of our board members, really decorated for the Harry Potter theme, and they really went all out. It was
We had a lot of kids come for story time, like 21, I think is what it ended up being.
so.
Wow.
We did crafts and everything.
I do feel like that we're getting more people saying the computer use is it has increased after school for students. And we have a new operating system that we went to and that it's working very well for us. I think that's probably the highlights.
DDA.
I can go over that. I don't really think we had much going on there. We talked about the Winterfest. Which I don't know, everybody understands what we've got going on with that. And we have Tiffany, the new business owner downtown. In case you haven't noticed, she painted, it's all
It
done.
looks so nice.
Yep, and then the
I love the
DEA
color.
decided to cover the cost of that, so.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so she came to them and they approved the entire job, so.
Nice.
Yeah, so the DDA gave money to the Winterfest and they took care of Tiffany's paint. We applied for a match on Main Street grant. And we approved one of the other facades for reimbursement, so. I think. Oh, they talked about the concert and maybe some things that we could do, like if we have big crowds or whatever for parking and, you know, just kind of, we talked a little bit about some feedback from some of the members of the DDA that were at the park. So,
Perfect. Did I miss any committees? All of them?
I don't really have one, but I'll give you one.
Okay.
As a finance committee didn't
Yeah.
really meet, but.
Oh, yeah,
um,
yeah.
So one of the things we give you guys on the committees is, you know, we try to put this out, go out as far as we can. We hang it on the door, it's our public notice, but,
Those are my favorite.
yeah, a lot of times, you know, you might see 2 or 3 weeks or 2 or 3 months worth of meetings on here. We usually try to give it to you with your packet, so if you're confused about when the meetings are, then take a look at this. One of the things the committees are gonna have to decide is when they want to meet. Typically, finance and police have met like that hour before the council meeting. We want to keep it that way, we'll just post it that way, but if anything changes, I guess we're gonna need to know so we get all of our meetings posted.
I liked all my meetings. so we know where- They were
And,
all
like,
Mondays.
And the DPW met like right before the DDA, which would also be the Parks and Rec. They would meet the last Monday of the month.
I liked having just Mondays.
It makes it, I mean, it's just
Mondays.
easier not to have to, you know, try to get people here 2 and 3 nights. It's a lot easier if you can do 2 meetings in one night, at least for me.
Yeah, I do
Um,
every other and it's nice.
Yeah, so I think it works out okay. So if something changes, we'll get, I guess we'll leave them up for right now. If something changes, let me know. Greg, or Gail, can you reach up and open that up some, there's like a little slider at the top.
This,
It's just gonna, it's gonna open this front thing.
they do it?
No,
No.
other way.
Is there a little,
Maybe you're going.
Right, Greg, you get it involved.
it's just gonna open this thing so it turns on the light.
So
And
the
it's
slide
gonna
right there, baby.
show you guys our website.
So she's
Yep.
got it all out of focus.
Uh-oh.
Yes, she did.
I did.
Oh geez. Oh, now Cassie's, does the light just kick on or?
Come on, Jim.
You gotta push that button, it's lit.
Cassie
He's
said
doing
just
HVAC,
slide
so
that
you don't do
open.
your
It's
check
not
out.
working, Brown.
Blinking.
Oh,
Here.
it's coming in.
No, I got it.
Oh, maybe it's gotta
It's like
warm
a
up.
You're gonna get blinded.
It's gotta heat. Don't look straight at the light. You
No,
gotta
no.
look at that.
Hey, don't go towards the light.
Cassie, come fix
It's
it.
coming on.
Ruin it, I
I
promise.
think it's gotta warm up.
I see
I
something.
see
I
it.
see like,
Oh, yeah, it's
might
fine.
need to be refocused.
Works fine.
Do you have to turn off the lights?
No, it'll get brighter.
Okay.
I need to try to focus it then.
I don't think,
I would
well, I
say
don't know.
yes. I'm not wearing my glasses though, so
It's a
don't
little
go by
blurry.
No,
me.
it's blurry.
Yeah. that's fine.
Oh, there it goes.
There you go.
There we go. That's close enough. So this is our website. And so if you guys want to look at like, so Jeff mentioned the master plan. That's out here on our website. The capital improvement plan, the economic strategy, marketing strategy, master plan, zoning guide, the full ordinance, all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, if you want us to print those for you, in the past, we've printed those items for city council, but we find that when we do ask you to look at it, you never know where it is.
It's
So
tricky.
I
When
kind
you
of
go
feel
online,
like
you can just type.
it's,
where
that, you
wanna go.
know, they will open right up and everything is right out here. So,
They used to give us books like this, but you can get all this
Yep,
information.
and I was gonna tell you that we have one of those for everyone, but if you don't
Well,
want,
the younger kids here, they probably prefer.
if you
the-
don't want one of those books, you can click on this
the
right
tech.
here. And you can go to the full code of ordinances on our website. It's searchable, which is much easier to use
It
than
is way
that.
easy.
So if you're looking for dogs or something, you just type that in.
I go in
here.
there often and just type stuff in, like I'll read
I can see you
the
doing that.
community page and then I go in there and type stuff in, just check stuff
And
out.
it'll give you anything that, you know, has to do with whatever you're looking for. So if you want one of those black books, let us know. We'll sign it out to you. We'll know you have it. Otherwise, we have 7 of them sitting here and we have the full ordinance
I
online.
still don't want one.
I'm old school, I like the book idea.
Yeah,
was
Marcy
just
right
gonna
now is
say
the
this.
only one with a book.
I want a book.
I can find it in the book faster, I get on that.
Had a
stuff
book
there
and
with
it sat there with dust on it and I brought it back to you and I said, I don't want it back.
Yep. So the zoning ordinance is on there as well. All of these things are out there. I think my favorite part is when you go to the agendas and minutes, if you want to see what we did last year, it's out here. It takes a minute to load.
Where's that picture from?
And if
It's
you,
not here. I don't know where that
That's
picture came
that's a
from.
cool,
Yeah,
and if you don't know when your meetings are, I mean, you could just go straight to the calendar. It's all in the calendar.
so if you come out
everything.
here, like, this is tonight's meeting. Whoops, I think I must have clicked on it. I don't know if that's a good idea while we're in that meeting, see what happens, but, so the agenda's out here and it's like, you just click on it, it takes you right to last month's minutes, and so it's really interactive and it's really handy if you're looking for something. I like it a lot and, oops, got out of there. So then I post the video here, tomorrow I'll probably get that video posted, and so if you have some question about the meeting, go back and watch it. And then we also, tape all of the, committee meetings and stuff.
I'd like
So-
to note that if you're looking on your phone, sometimes it truncates it and you can't, so you have to know to toggle over. So it might only say, like, if you're on your phone, the agenda and stuff, and you're thinking, oh, where's the packet? So, I mean, when she's pulling it up on your laptop, you can see everything, but if you're.
my
on your
phone, I can't pull all that up like that, so I struggle with it.
So,
My laptop's out of date.
people can go on here and pay their bills. They can see their taxes. They can go to this residence thing and ask to have a street light fixed. I mean, just about, we try to put everything out here that we can think of. I'm sure there's more we could do, but these are the favorite things right here is the, the things that people use a lot right in the middle. And then we do have a calendar. And then down below, we have a lot of other like little things.
But that, to pay your bill, like your sewer bill and stuff, that's kind of a hodgepodge. I got on there, and it's like, trying to navigate around it was just
Oh, we have lots of people who don't have any problem with it.
technology.
User
I'm just
error.
gonna be in the pay it next time.
Just call Jim next time.
I will tell you, we think it's changed our delinquency rate on the sewer bills. A lot of people go on there and pay their sewer bill that way.
Because the way I look at it, you gotta pay a fee to pay it, and for that fee, it's no different than being a lot late. So I might as well be late, just give it to you. It's a lot easier. Just, I can't navigate it.
Well, whatever works for you.
Yep, that's what I'm doing.
So I just wanted to make sure you guys were familiar with our website, and if you have any questions or think of something else we should have on here, but the agendas and minutes thing might be really helpful to you, and the ordinance and the plans, so.
You click on ordinances.
Yep.
I'm just wondering if there's a symbol behind that being a picture of the cemetery.
Cemetery. ordinance. We actually have a cemetery ordinance.
Yeah, okay, I'm just saying.
I have no idea. Maybe because they are old. Yeah, like that cemetery is. I don't know. We can fix the picture though.
He thinks he's funny.
I do. Yeah.
Think it's
It's a
there.
good thing you're laughing.
I know.
Yeah, that's right. All right. Anything else?
Dude, hit you close that thing again. And me and Jeff won't be, there we go. Woo.
I think we have a wonderful website, Paula. I think you did a
Thanks.
good job.
All right.
All right, so for next month, we're gonna have a public hearing during this meeting. We're going to put the the spring cleanup, probably Spark grant way back on there. Anything else in
The
particular?
moratorium.
The moratorium back on there? Oh, that's right, because I got Connie, I got that note there, so. Okay,
And we need 2 folks for the zoning board. So if you
And
can think
board
of
of review.
anybody.
and we're-
And board of review, yep.
and then somebody for the library, right?
Somebody for the library. If you guys can think of anybody.
And I mean, if there's anything you guys think of, just give us a holler and we'll try to,
Everybody say hi to Brian.
Hi, Brian.
All right.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
I suck.
Second.
I'm hungry. I go home and make dinner.
I
Yeah.
don't think we need to vote on that one. Thank you all for sitting for a long meeting.
Yeah, it's always kind of long.
Be about 7 for 8 tonight.
Thank